Hi everyone, thank you for watching. I wanted to bring you information regarding Redbox and the new filing that they had and an update on the stock in general. So first off, I would like to begin by telling people that I have not sold my position in Redbox, and I'm getting very, very frustrated with this community and the fact that if I don't talk about a stock for a day or 5 minutes or whatever the case may be, not up to people's expectation, they start shilling and saying crap, and it makes me not want to talk about it at all, quite frankly, because it's annoying as can be, and I have a life, guys. My videos I do as a courtesy to you guys because I care. I'm not paid for them. My time is valuable. I have other things going on in my life. For God's sakes, my friend is in the ICU dying, and you people really pissed me off this week. Okay? So I'm going to be really real with you. If it continues, I'll never talk about Redbox again. And that's just because I can't believe how really rude, insensitive, and just horrible people are in general, and it's not appreciated. Guys, no one pays me to say a freaking word about this, and I spend a lot of time in this market trying to help people, trying to analyze filings, trying to do the best that I can to help other retail. And you know what? When I have things going on in my own life and people are so rude and selfish and making nasty comments at me because I'm not talking about Redbox, I have a serious, serious problem with that. If I sell, you'll all know when I go to sell, okay? I'm being as real can be. I'm still in it. You know what? It's either going to go to the moon or it's going to take the ship down with me at this point. I'm just at that point. But guys, this only goes out to the people who've been rude. I mean, for those of you who've been supportive through it and making nice comments back, I really appreciate that. But for those of you who think that I'm going to devote my entire life to one stock, I'm sorry. I have other things going on. And just an FYI, I have family in town this week, so I won't be talking about Redbox. I won't be on Twitter screaming whatever's going on. I'm busy, guys. I'm also an RN, and my license is up for renewal this month. So on top of that, I need to do all my CEU hours and get that done so I can renew my license. Just because I'm not currently working as an RN because I'm disabled doesn't mean that I don't have hopes to someday go back. That's my passion. That's what I love, okay? So sorry to go on a tangent, but I just want you to know where I'm at and how much some of the things that some people say really dig at me, and this wasn't the week for it. So, if I don't respond to comments, it's because I'm busy. If, I have other things going on and don't talk about Redbox, I'm sorry, guys. I have a life, and you guys are not in my shoes. You know what? I'm doing this to help people, and it really stinks. I don't get anything for it other than fact that retail's informed. So anyways, let's get into this. I apologize, but it needed to be said. Also, I want to give a warning to all investors as far as somebody's going around impersonating me on the comments on YouTube. I do not have a WhatsApp or whatever that is. I don't think I've had one in 15 years. And I only had one then because some guy I was dating needed to communicate that way. And you know what? I haven't used it. I used it a few times and have never used it since. I think I don't understand it. I don't have a WhatsApp. That is not me. They're just using my picture. If you see anybody promoting anything, let me tell you, WhatsApp, something else. It's not me, guys. I am not promoting things. I'm not trying to get to you to write to me on other forums. I'm not looking for money. I'm not looking for anything from anybody, guys. This is not me. So that being said, please be careful because this is going rampant all over the internet. And with the economy as bad as the economy is right now, people are struggling really, really badly. And there's going to be a lot more scammers out, more so than ever. And that's just a warning because I'm sure it's happening all over the place and not just to me. And guys, all I can do is report it to YouTube, which I've done numerous times. They don't even delete the comment. Sometimes I have to go in and then delete it after. And guys, I don't have the time to sit and go through every comment. I try to read as many as I can. But between Twitter, YouTube, and my own life, I don't have time. I would be literally on my phone all day responding to comments. And I'm sorry, but I have other things to do. I read them. I appreciate them, the kind ones. But you know what? I like constructive criticism too, but some of them are just so far out there. And another thing to be said is I will never tell you to buy, hold, or sell a stock. Guys, that's a decision that only you can make. And I'm not going to tell anybody what to do ever, because I wouldn't want someone to do that to me. All I'm going to do is tell you the facts and what's out there and what I see. But guys, if you haven't figured out by now that this market is extremely manipulated and the corruption is beyond what I could ever even imagine, and I keep learning more and more every week, and I'm so disgusted by it. It's sad. And you know what? Their goal is to make us all sell at a loss. That's the bottom line. If you choose to do that, that's up to you. If you choose to hold, then just know Redbox can go to 87 cents or 0.087 of a share of CSSE. So who knows what that's at? Honestly, at this point for me, I don't really care. I should have sold at 18, bought back lower. I didn't, but you know what? That's on me too. And you know what? Any of us that held, that's on us. That was our choice to hold. I knew at 650 or 675 or whatever it was when I said to you guys, all right, guys, I've gone against my own trading plan. I need to sell. But yet I felt some guilt to the community and I decided to hold. And you know what? I went against my own trading plan. I thought about it and said, you know what? This is more about the facts. I can make money in a different stock to cover my losses here. So it was a choice that I made, guys. And I shouldn't have made it because it was against my own trading plan, but it was something I thought about and decided that right now, you know, it was just a choice I decided to go with. Do I regret it? No, not really. You know what? Because I think it's going to go back higher anyways. So I don't regret it. And if it doesn't, oh, well, you know what? There's another stock. And that's how I have to look at it. And let me just bring something else up because, guys, I'm venting right now. But it's very important, guys, that you never, ever, ever go all in on one stock. You know, I don't know if people are doing this or if they're going into heavy or spending money that they can't afford to lose. But guys, this market is manipulated. There are no guarantees. Technical analysis I can do up the yin-yang. I can tell you what I see. But guess what? Every single time we're supposed to make a cross or do something, it's getting stopped. So somehow they're programming these high frequency trading algorithms to change it up. And I can't control that. Literally, I can't control that. Nobody can. Anybody who knows how to do technical analysis and read a chart will tell you, you know, at this point, if this crosses here, it should do this. But guys, if, you know, it crosses and immediately dips right back down, or it hits that line and instead of crossing is reversed back down, that's nothing that we can control. All we can do is show you or tell you the pattern that we see happening in the chart. And I'm starting to wonder if I should even be telling you technical analysis, because I'm not sure if you guys even understand it enough to know that just because something's supposed to do something, there's no guarantees, especially with a manipulated stock. And you know what? When I got into Redbox, this was October, guys, of last year, October. That's how long I have been in Redbox, because I told you, if you're new to this and you don't know, I truly believe that Redbox could be a competitor, and still do believe they could be a competitor to Netflix. That being said, we'll see what CSSE does with the merger. But at this point, it was decided for me that before the actual merger happens, I am going to sell when it squeezes, which I think will happen prior to that. Now, again, there's no guarantees. There's some questions out there as far as what's going to happen with the failure to delivers. Do the FTDs have to be covered prior to the merger? Because the example that was given in one person writing it was that support and GRI. And if you guys are familiar with that squeeze, it was because the failure to delivers were covered, which was driving the price up, bringing retail in. And all of a sudden, you had, you know, the hype coming in to the play, the FTDs needing to get covered, and them needing those shares. Now, Does anything have to happen in this market? I honestly don't know anymore. I can tell you, what's supposed to happen. But guys, what's supposed to happen is that failure to delivers are covered within 35 days. But is that happening? I really don't think so. So honestly, I don't know if failure to delivers will be covered, if they have to be covered, because I don't even know what I know anymore, because it seems like whatever the rules are, they're meant to be broken. And when they are, all they get is slapped with a tiny little fine that, you know what, they don't care because they made billions on it. So that being said, let's take a look at the filing that came out on Friday, because there's a few things I want to point out. And guys, I haven't finished reading all of it. I've only gotten to a certain point. I have company coming in a couple of hours and I need to cook and do some other things. I've been going all day. And then I have my ex-husband coming this week for the week and staying with me. Lucky me. But you know what? I'm telling you that because I want you to know that I'm not ignoring anyone. I'm not giving up on Redbox. I have a life and I have things I have to do. And I've given up a lot of my life to help you guys. To make these videos takes me hours a day. So I hope you appreciate it. If you do, please, can you someone send me some love in the comments? Because I need some right now. I'm going through a lot and I need some support. All right, let's get into it. Okay, guys, there is a lot of very important information in this filing. Like I stated, I have not gotten through all of it yet, but I have gone through the first 40 pages. There is over, probably around 200 pages worth of information here. So I'd like to review what I have found so far, and there's some very important things that I think you're going to learn from this. So hopefully you find it very informative. Again, nothing I say is ever financial advice. But anyways, the information, the filing that came out on Friday was the announcement, basically, that Redbox is going to be having a vote for the approval of the merger for shareholders. And as a result, there's a lot of paperwork that went into that for your review for the vote. Now, guys, essentially, even though it says every vote matters, we all know that our vote really doesn't matter in this case because Redbox's board and insiders have the majority and they've already decided to complete this merger. But there's some other things that I found in the filing that show us that it could be delayed or even canceled, which I believe at 500% cost to borrow or whatever it currently is, I haven't looked this past weekend, could result in some covering because, guys, it will not be done the day of the vote, August 9th. So first of all, let's get that one right out of there because you're going to see there's a lot of other things that need to follow and potentially a lawsuit that may delay or even cause it to cancel. So let's get into this because I think you're going to like it as much as I have. So I'm just going to read you what I've highlighted because that's the most important stuff, guys. And don't worry, I don't have stuff on all 40 pages, but it's important you hear all of this. So please continue watching. On May 10th, 2022, Redbox entered into a merger agreement with CSSE. A copy of the merger agreement is included as Annex A with a proxy statement. If the mergers are complete at effective time, each share of Class A common stock of Redbox will be canceled and automatically you will receive 0.087 shares of Class A common stock of CSSE. Guys, we all know that, and that's the basis that the shorts have been trying to get people to sell on. Based on the number of shares of Redbox Class A common stock and OPCO LLC units and Redbox RSU awards outstanding as of the date of this proxy information statement, an aggregate number of approximately 4.6 million shares of CSSE will be issued as a result of this merger, guys. This is just what I said, the notice of the special meeting of stockholders, which will be held on August 9th, 2022. Guys, before I get into this, you don't have to attend the stockholder vote, although you're welcome to. However, you can vote online, via phone, or via email, okay? which would be online, right? So anyways, a proposal, and this is the, like I just stated, the proposal of the merger. There's two things being voted on. The merger, like essentially that yes or no, do you want to vote in favor or against? And of course, the board is recommend that you vote in favor of it. I personally will be voting against, even though my vote doesn't matter, but that's me. And then secondly, guys, is the just notice to adjourn. Okay, the outstanding public warrants, guys, that are left over. I highlighted this because just so you guys know, when those transfer, if this merger does go through, they will be basically need to have a share price of 132.18 per share of CSSE. In order for them to be exercised. So guys, nobody wants to be stuck holding warrants if this deal does indeed go through. Redbox will be holding a special meeting. Oh, that's just the same thing. All right. And then, like I just said, that the Redbox board unanimously recommends that Redbox stockholders vote for the Redbox merger proposal and for the Redbox adjournment proposal. Okay. Prior to their transfer restrictions, with respect to common stock or warrants of Redbox held by such security holders, any such release could have an adverse impact on the trading price of such securities. So this is because of the sponsor lockup period. So maybe I should go back and read the whole thing so you guys understand it, because that was for me. But the consummation of the mergers will result in termination of the sponsor lockup period, upon which time Seaport will be released of its transfer restrictions with respect to the restricted securities held by Seaport. Such release could have an adverse impact on the trading price of securities. So guys, when a SPAC goes public, they have a lockup agreement in which Seaport was involved with the I believe they had a 1-year lockup, so it would be coming due anyways at the end of October, which is probably why that would need to be completed, why their goal is to have the merger agreement completed before that date. Because if Seaport, if the lockup shares are released, then that's when you start to notice in SPACs the price declines because there becomes more shares in the market, right? So right now they're currently locked up. But this says prior to the consummation of the mergers, Redbox may consider and agree to release Seaport or other security holders of their transfer restrictions with respect to the common stock or warrants. And guys, we already saw them do that with respect to Seaport being able to cash in those 1 million warrants. And as you're going to see right here, the warrant exercise agreement. As of July 8th, 2022, Seaport did exercise the 1 million private placement warrants pursuant to paragraph 1 above, and sold the resulting 1 million shares of Redbox Class A common stock pursuant to paragraph 2 above. So I think that I noticed at some point last week, one of the short interest sites, I think it was Fintel, was reporting a significantly less short interest. And I'm wondering if it's because they added in the additional 1 million shares, guys. At any rate, it was still very, very high. So there still is a, massive potential that this could have a short squeeze. Will it? Nobody knows. That's the reality. I'm not going to lie to you and say it's definitely going to happen because I don't know if it will or it won't, but that's what I'm hoping for. Now, further, prior to consummation of mergers, Redbox may consider and agree to release Seaport or other security holders of their transfer restrictions with respect to the common stock or warrants of Redbox held by security holders. Any such release could have an adverse impact on the trading price of securities. So guys, you don't want to know my thoughts, but I'm going to share them to you anyways, because maybe you do. But I'm guessing that Seaport probably had a deal with somebody who was short Redbox ahead of time, was able to cash in on these 1 million warrants, and they probably immediately got consumed to cover a short position. Just my thought. Don't know if it's fact, but that's what I'm thinking. Okay. Condition precedent to mergers. Now, this is very important, guys. The merger agreement shall have been duly adopted by the requisite Redbox vote. So, once it votes, that means that it, if it gets approved, then that condition will be met, which you'll see going forward. Any waiting period and any extension thereof under the HSR Act relating to the mergers shall have been expired or been terminated, and all required filings shall have been made and all required approvals have been obtained under applicable antitrust laws. Guys, this is what I'm reading to you. These things highlighted right here are the conditions to the merger. So that's why I said it's important you pay attention. And I'm not going to read every single one because some don't really have an effect on us. The shares of CSSE Class A common stock to be issued in the merger shall have been approved for listing on the NASDAQ Global Market subject to official notice of issuance. So guys, once we vote, they need to get approval for the Class A common stock to be issued from the NASDAQ, which is why I said it will not happen the day of the vote. The registration statement on Form S-4, of which this proxy statement information shall have been declared effective by the SEC, and no stop order suspending the effectiveness of the Form S-4 shall have been issued, and no proceedings for that purpose shall have been initiated or threatened, and the Form S-4 shall not have been withdrawn. So guys, what could threaten this? A class action lawsuit by shareholders for this take under, right? Which it seems like, as we keep reading, could be in the works. And I have heard rumors speculating that one was filed. So not quite sure what's going on with that, but keep that in the back of your mind, because I think there's a lot that shorts need to worry about right now that could affect the stock price and cause us to rally, because nobody wants to be paying 500% cost to borrow on something that isn't going to happen August 9th, which this filing made very clear, and may not happen at all, or may get delayed due to a lawsuit. Okay. As further discussed under the section titled Risk Factors, neither CSSE nor Redbox can be certain whether or if the conditions to the merger will be satisfied or waived, or that the mergers will be completed. Guys, it says it right here. They can't guarantee that the merge is going to happen, okay? Point blank. That's a risk factor in this. For shorts. All right. Termination of the merger agreement. CSSE or Redbox may terminate the merger agreement if the mergers have not been completed on or before October 31st. And guys, they already have extension dates in. Failure of the mergers to be completed by the end date and provide further. Dates may be extended further, initially to January 31st, 2023, and thereafter to April 30th, 2023. Guys, if you were short, would you want to be paying a cost to borrow, knowing that right here it says that it may be extended if certain conditions outside the control of the parties have not been satisfied? I.e., first thing that comes to mind when I read this, the lawsuit. Any court have I'm sorry, let me start that over. Any court of competent jurisdiction or other government entity shall have issued any judgment, order, injunction, rule or decree, or taken any other action restraining enjoining, or otherwise prohibiting any of the transactions contemplated by the merger agreement, and such judgment, order, injunction, rule, decree, or other action shall have become final and non-appealable, provided that the party seeking to terminate the merger agreement as described in this bullet shall have used its reasonable best efforts to control, appeal, and remove such judgment. Guys, again, a court order could stop this merger from going through, point blank. The approval of the Redbox merger proposal by the Redbox stockholders shall not have been obtained at the Redbox special meeting. So guys, we all know that it's not going to happen, but if shareholders were to all vote no, including the board who has, clearly the majority of vote in this, and Seaport, who've all agreed on it, then that wouldn't happen. Then that's a reason they could cancel. In addition, the merger agreement may be terminated under the following circumstances by CSSE if the Redbox board has approved or adopted any definitive agreement for a takeover proposal. All right. So, as you can see, there's things that could cause this not to happen. Now, closing and effective time of the mergers. Guys, very important. This is the timeline involved. So pay attention. Unless the parties agree otherwise, the closing of the mergers will take place on a date that is 3 business days following the satisfaction, or to the extent permitted by applicable laws, waiver of the conditions to closing, other than such conditions that by their terms are to be satisfied at the closing, but subject to the satisfaction or the extent permitted by applicable law, waiver of such conditions. As soon as practicable on the closing date, a certificate of merger with respect to the first company merger will be filed with the SEC. With the Secretary of State of the state of Delaware, and concurrently therewith, a certificate of merger with respect to the OpCo merger will be filed with the Secretary of State of the state of Delaware. The first company merger and the OpCo merger will each become effective at the same time on the closing date, as the parties agree in writing. In addition, on the closing date, a certificate of merger with respect to the second company merger will be filed with the Secretary of State of the state of Delaware, and second company merger will become effective 1 minute after the effective time, as will be specified on the certificate of merger. So guys, this is just the time frame, and this is showing you that after all the conditions are met, that there's still a 3-day waiting period, okay? Now, if there's any lawsuit, that is going to hold this up. And it seems to me that there's warnings of this in this filing. CSSE and Redbox have targeted to complete the mergers in the 3rd quarter of 2022, subject to the receipt of the Redbox stockholder approval. Litigation relating to the mergers could result in injunction preventing the completion of the mergers and or substantial loss to CSSE and Redbox. Guys, this is it, okay? This is our ticket, in my opinion, of what is going to delay and potentially stop this merger from going through. Security class action lawsuits and derivative lawsuits are often brought against public companies that have entered into acquisition, merger, or other business combination agreements. Even if the lawsuit is without merit, an adverse judgment could result in monetary damages, which could have a negative impact on CSSE and Redbox, respective liquidity and financial conditions. Lawsuits that may be brought against CSSE, Redbox, or their respective directors could also seek, among other things, injunctive relief or other equitable relief, including a request to rescind parts of the merger. Agreement already implemented and to otherwise enjoin the parties from consummating the mergers. In May of 2022, CSSE received a request for access to the books and records of CSSE relating to the terms of the merger agreement and the transactions contemplated thereby. Okay, guys, that's it. The writing is on the wall. There is a potential lawsuit. Clearly, the lawyers are the ones who made the request for the books because they're going to file something in the courts, which it says directly that the merger cannot go through if either party is in a lawsuit, right? So, at the very least, we get a delay, and at the very best, the merger doesn't go through. This filing is golden, guys. Continuing on. One of the conditions to the closing of the mergers, just what I just said, is that no injunction by any court or other tribunal of competent jurisdiction has been entered and continues to be in effect, and no law has been adopted or is effective in either case that prohibits or makes illegal the closing of the mergers. Consequently, if a plaintiff is successful in obtaining an injunction prohibiting completion of the mergers, that injunction may delay or prevent the mergers from being completed within the expected time frame or at all, which may adversely affect CSSE and Redbox respective business, financial positions, and results of operation. Either CSSE or Redbox may terminate the merger agreement if any court or competent jurisdiction or other governmental entity issues any judgment, order, injunction, rule, or decree, or takes any other actions restraining, enjoining, or otherwise prohibiting any of the transactions completed by the merger agreement, and such judgment or other action becomes final and non-appealable, so long as the party seeking to terminate the merger agreement has used its reasonable best efforts to contest, appeal, and remove such judgment, order, injunction, rule, decree, ruling, or other action in accordance with the terms of the merger agreement. Guys, it can't be any clearer than this. It's saying right here, there can be no assurance that the merger will happen or that it will be completed if there's a lawsuit. That right there leads me to believe that this will at the least get delayed, if not completed at all. And then one final note is that there's no additional approval of the stockholders of CSSE required to approve the CSSE stock issuance, the merger agreement, the mergers, or other transactions. So in other words, for CSSE holders, they don't need to vote, guys, because whatever's in their clause for acquisitions, the shareholders don't have a say, essentially. So, guys, so far what I've gotten through in this filing is very, very informative, and it gives me great hope. And I wouldn't be surprised if upon reading this, God, I hope the shorts are reading this, or their attorneys, or whatever the case may be, if they're in a major firm, because at the cost to borrow as high as it is, this could go on for a very long time, and seems to me it's in their best interest to cover sooner rather than later. There's one other thing before I end this, because it's long and I have to go, guys, but I do want to look at Fintel real quickly and see if there's any shares left to borrow, or if they went to town after hours. Let's check. Okay, guys, so this is according to Fintel. Remember I said that the short interest had gone down on Fintel to 69.9%. I believe that's probably because they added in those 1 million shares. but it still seems like it's reduced more. So that's interesting. But anyways, it's somewhere between 69.9 and what, 150% approximately, something like that. At any rate, anything above 20% can certainly trigger a short squeeze. Anything above 10% can, in all reality. So, there's 1.72 days to cover based on the current trading volume. The off-exchange short volume, according to Fintel, was 58.18%, guys, because they're still playing games with the stock, as you're well aware. And let's see. So, 1 day ago, as of yesterday, July 16th, at 4 a.m., there were only 5,000 shares available to short. So, looks like that's getting pretty tight for them again. And according to, interesting. According to Fintel, the cost to borrow, the minimum is 440.78%. The maximum is 485.7%. So, guys, like I said, the cost to borrow is huge. There's barely any shares left for them to short. And this is looking great, in my opinion. So I think there's a couple things that could happen. Oh, let me see. Look at the fail to delivers, guys. Look at the spike. These are going to come due. This is nuts. Absolutely crazy. Look at June 24th. Let's see. Sheesh, Louise. Millions of shares, guys. This is crazy. Less so now. They're getting less and less because I don't think they have the shares that they can do it to. This is very interesting. All right, guys. I think worst case scenario, they try to scare people from the filing and drive the price down a little bit more if they can. Best case scenario, they know they're screwed and they start covering ASAP because the first to cover is going to be in the best position and get the best price, right? Because this could potentially trigger a squeeze for us. And it looks the failure to delivers spiked again in June significantly. Guys, it's like a freaking cup and handle on the FTDs. Very, very interesting. And remember, the fail to delivers are due T plus 35. So all of these really high ones, guys, are coming due. That's why they're trying to scare the crap out of people and shorting this to like oblivion. It makes perfect sense. And they're due this week. Cup, handle, boom. Let's get it. I hope that we have an amazing week, guys. I really, really do. Because as you know, we're down to $4.37. That is freaking crazy that they can even do this. But when it reverses, it should be all the more powerful. Anyways, I hope you all enjoy the rest of your weekend. I hope that this video helped give you guys some hope. Sorry for my rant in the beginning, but it needed to be said, guys, because I don't think that people realize how comments affect others, especially when they do things out of the goodness of their heart. All right, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Take care.